All right, I started writing this up as an article, but my computer is giving me trouble, and I really want to get it off of my chest, so I'd like to share it with you as a shir instead. It is Motzei Shabbos, it is Parshas Vayikra, Tafshin Pei, it is 2020. We are in the coronavirus outbreak, and it has me wanting to share some more Torah because I'm not giving the classes I usually do. So I'm going to share it this way, and this is an idea that I gave years ago, but I didn't go into it, at least this part of it, as in-depth as we are right now. I gave a shir one Shavuos called Hilchos Doggies, and it was a halachic look at pet ownership. And it was a lot of fun to prepare for. I went back to a lot of things that I had learned in the Hilchos Shabbos kollel that I was in with Rabbi Yirmiyahu Kaganoff Shlita, and I also had used a wonderful article by a Rabbi Howard Jachter, and I also listened to him on the Halacha podcast called Headlines, and I gained a lot of information about the halachos of pet ownership. And there are many halachos that are nogea to Passover. There are many halachos that are nogea to being mesaris an animal, to getting your animal spayed or neutered, and there's a lot of stuff that has to do with Hilchos Shabbos. And what I want to speak about today is not whether or not a pet is muksa. I'm going to take that as a granted that it's muksa. I'm going to go with it being muksa machmas gufo. And we have a Tosfos in Masechah Shabbos on Mem Hey Amid Beis that brings a Rav Yosef who holds that a person is allowed to pick up an efroach, a little bird, because the chai is chazi, it is fitting lishasek bo tinok, lishdok bo tinok. You can quiet down a child when you hold this bird in front of him. It's a bird that obviously we see as a pet, and it can be used to calm down a child that is crying. But Tosfos there goes on to argue with that opinion and says that balei chayim are muksim, and it says it's kigrogros vitzimukin, which are a very powerful form of muksa machmas gufo. And the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Shin Ches Sif Lamed Tes says asur letaltal behema chayav ha'of. It is prohibited to carry a domestic animal, a wild animal or a bird, v'afal pikain, and even so, even though that's true, mutter lichvos as asalif ne'afrochim, you could put a basket down in front of little birds, kadesh yalu v'yerdubo, so they can go up and down it, uba'odam alav asur letaltalo, and while they're still on it, of course, you can't carry it. The Mishnah Berurah there says that they're bechlal muksa ke'etzim va'avanim, which is muksa machmas gufo. Doesn't say as stark as grogros and tzimukin. The halo chazu, they're not fitting for anything on Shabbos. Vafilim yachal agil lahefsid al yadam, kigon she'of pareach al gabi akelim v'yachal shabram, even if they're going to cause you a monetary loss. Afilu hachi asal tafsim b'yadam, you can't grab them by hand. He mentions there that there's a chashash tzeda also. And right now we're speaking about muksa. And if you look in the Shulchan Aruch Harav, both in Sif Ches and in, I believe, Ayin Ches, he also seems to state that they are muksa machmas gufo, and there is a machlokas bein haposkim, what level of muksa machmas gufo this is. Is it that if I am miyached them before Shabbos, that I'd be able to be metaltal them, like I could be miyached a rock? Or are they more muksa, like grogros and tzimukim, where you wouldn't be able to do that? And that is a entire machlokas, which is spoken out bein haposkim. What I want to speak about is not that, because muksa is asur betiltal. It's asur to carry around muksa. However, I want to argue that it would be okay to pet a dog on Shabbos. Let's talk about the obvious here for a second. Petting a dog on Shabbos isn't moving the dog. But you want to say you are moving its hair, or that maybe when you play with it or you pet it, you are moving the dog a little bit. So let's look at the next sif in the Shulchan Aruch. Let's look at sif mem, still in Siman Shin Ches. It says, Kol behema chayav ha'of, medadin osam bechatzer. Any type of animal, be it domestic, be it wild, be it a bird, you can lead them in a courtyard. And dahainu, that is she'oches b'tzavaram, you are grabbing them by the shoulders, ubitstadim, or their sides, umalichan, and you're causing them to walk. You haven't lifted them up off the ground, but you have definitely moved them, and you've certainly moved their hair. Im tzrichim abalei chayim lekach, if the animals need this, ubilvad shelo yagbihem, as long as you don't pick them up, be'inyan she'akru ragleihem min ha'aretz, in a way that their feet would be lifted up off the ground. So being metaltel muksa, being metaltel an animal, is lifting it up off the ground. The muksin heim va'asal metaltelim, because they're muksa and it's usher to pick them up and move them around. Chutz mitaynagolis v'chulu v'chulu. He finishes there talking about chickens and says, Deichim osa me'achoreha bi'adayim kadesh tikanes. You can push them from behind so they can go into wherever you want them to go into. So we see that the only isser here is tiltal, and that is the big mistake people always make, that you can't touch muksa. Yes, you can. You can't be metaltel muksa. You can't pick up muksa and move it. But over here, when dealing with an animal, it says what is moving an animal? Picking it up off the ground so that its legs are up off the ground. If you're doing anything less than that, then you haven't been metaltel an animal. The Mishnah Brewer there makes clear that you can't do this in Rosh Hashanah, right? We're talking about doing it in a chatzer. Certainly, if you're doing it inside your house because you're playing with your animal inside your house, that's fine. But it would be a big problem in Rosh Hashanah because by a behema, the Mishnah Brewer points out, we don't say chai noseis atzmo, that it carries itself. So it would be carrying if you caused it to do that outside. But once you're inside, or if you're in a place where there's an eruv, there isn't going to be a problem. And that's the next thing I wanted to just point out from this Sif Mem in Siman Shin Ches, is that you would end up also not having any problem with walking your dog. If we're saying you're able to direct an animal, medadimosam, that you're allowed to lead them, and we say that's even she'oches b'tzavarim v'tzdadim malichan. You can mamish grab them by the shoulders, right? You can grab them and push them by their side, and certainly you'd be able to do that out when you take them for a walk. Again, I'm talking about a place where there is an eruv. You've got an eruv, and you don't have a problem of carrying the leash per se. You have a problem, what I always worried about, is pulling the animal. But you know what? Pulling the animal only seems to be a problem when you are lifting it up off the ground. So what comes out from this is I'm not saying any major chiddush. I'm not saying that pets aren't muksa. I'm saying pets are muksa. Yep, they're muksa. But guess what? The isser of muksa is tiltal. And over here, you're not being metaltal it until you pick it up off the ground. Pet it all you want. Walk it all you want. Enjoy your pets. Kol tuv. Bye-bye. As an addendum, I just wanted to speak about the Shita of Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zatzal. If you look in Sefer Igros Moshe, in Orach Chaim Chelik Daled, and you go to the end of Sif Tes Zion, you find the following. L'taltal b'Shabbos v'Yomtiv, and to carry on Shabbos and Yomtiv, hakli im dagim ketanim shenasu l'noi, l'kashet habayis, if you want to carry around your fish tank, which is made to look pretty, and be a nice decoration for your house. Nirisha aser. It appears that would be aser. Debale chayim muksinheim, because animals are muksim. Af bekai gavna, even in such a way. Tehem kigrogros vitzimukim. He seems to hold that they are a very powerful level of muksa, like grogros and tzimukim. You can't be miyached them, and they're just muksa. Kimaforish betosos and Shabbos dafim hamid. Beis the Ramaschil hacha b'maya skinon. Shemaski delo karav Yosef, that the maskana there in Tosos is not like Rav Yosef. We do hold their muksa. V'acha gama kli aser delo shayach lafriach. And here in our case, the kli would be muksa also. And this always bothered me because there is another siman in Chelik Ches of the Igros Moshe, what they call Orach Chaim Chelik Hey. It's siman Chaf Beis, and it's little sif cutting in here, Chaf Aleph. And it reads like this. Im tzipore shir hein muksa. If songbirds are muksa. Here's the shaila. Tziporim ketanim shemitzaftzafim v'ketanim masachim moyim. If you have birds that are songbirds, they chirp, they make pretty little sounds, and the kids play with them. Ha'im dino kemuksa. is their halachic status of something that's muksa. The Betosos and Shabbos Muhammad Beis, the Remaskal Hacha, Hitter, Herb Yosef, Latalta Lefroachai. We know that Tosos is the Tosos we've been mentioning, where Rav Yosef says it's okay to carry a live bird, the Chazil Lishtok Botinok, that you can quiet down a child with it. And he says a tshuva over here. And there's a tshuva, and then there's small letters, which I believe were put in by Rav Moshe's grandson. Kol Baalei Chayim Havale Muksa. All Baalei Chayim are Muksa. Afilu Ba'osun Shatinokos Masachkim Bohen. Even the ones the children play with. And then here's these small words. Elaim Kainhem Yuchadam L'Shashuim. Unless they are miyachid, they are designated for playing with, and then in smaller parentheses, pets is what it says. So there's another version of this tshuva, which seems to make a lot more sense. The other version was written to Rav Badner, and it's in the back of Rav Badner's Hilchos Muksa book, which says the exact same thing, that they are muksa, and then just doesn't put in this last line about them being yuchadim for it. And the reason why that makes so much sense to me, the more I look into this sugya, is that if he really holds their kigrogros utzimukim, I don't think you'd be able to be miyached them. If they were stam muksamach muskufo, that's one thing. But if you say that they're like grogros and simukim, then there's no way you'd be able to be miyached them. It says in Beitza on Daf Chaf Vav Amid Beis that when you're dealing with grogros and simukim, the din is lo mahani hazman of yichud me'erev Shabbos. It's not possible to be miyached them for use from erev Shabbos. They are a higher form of muksamach maskufo. And if that's true, then the reading of this tshuva with the end being that it's okay if they are miyached as a pet, that can't be. And the version that's at the back of Rav Badner's sefer seems to make much more sense with the original tshuva of Rav Moshe.